Welcome. It seems like this is live. This is Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. You are watching the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. This is a Tuesday morning feels with Ricardo. It's an open drawing group. So if you are an artist and you are interested in joining this morning live, then you can. I'll give you some instructions on how to join later. And yeah, so stay tuned. I'm going to let you know a little bit more about the Reinventing the Tattoo Now network as this stream is kind of going out. And if it is working for you, please let us know in the chat room where you're beaming in from, and then maybe tag an artist or tattoo fan that might be interested in watching. The conversations are always pretty awesome. And yeah, this will be fun. So welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where tattooers, apprentices, and collectors and the curious are all encouraged to join in these live streams, to watch the replays, ultimately to inspire each other and to create better art and tattoos. It's a lot of fun. It's almost too much fun. We're beaming out nearly every day now, and with your help, have actually turned this Reinventing the Tattoo Now network into a set of tattoo shows that are all about furthering the art and talking about artists and collectors and the impact that tattooing has on all of our lives, generally for the better in these cases, although we talk about some of the bad things too, I suppose. Anyways, again, we're just very thankful that everybody is tuning in and contributing. And again, the artwork and the tattoos that everyone are getting is just amazing. It's crazy to see how this art can continue to grow. And I don't think it's ever going to slow down. Okay, you can, no matter where you're beaming in from, like I said, you could be beaming in from all the different places. You could always find the latest information on reinventingthetattoo.com on the homepage. You could also find us in either of the app stores, that is the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo. If you have a Roku, we've got, I think, 15 channels plus, including Drunk Critique channel, against my better judgment. Yeah, so if you have a Roku, do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo and then download it, as well as the podcasts. We have the audio of these going on the podcast. So do a search in the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those podcast stores, and you will find all the stuff. I'm going to right now do a screen share for the Reinventing the Tattoo homepage. And I'm going to show you how you can join in. There are a couple people in the waiting room. I'm going to let you in after the introduction. Thank you very much for beaming in. So some people have already gotten here. This is the homepage of Reinventing the Tattoo. If you go to the free resources, I actually changed it around a little bit, upcoming events, then it scrolls us right down here to this Google Calendar. If you click add to Google Calendar, then you will be able to get all of the notifications for all of your favorite Reinventing events. If you click on the actual event of today, and again, we have all the upcoming ones, but if you click on today's event, you can zoom in here. You can also watch the replays and whatnot. Yeah, we have some regular drawing groups. Jason, who's actually in the waiting room, he has 1 o'clock on Sundays. And then there's other shows. We have the Tattoo Weekly happens every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. The Tattoo Now show happens Wednesday at 12 noon, where I actually do the interviewing and stuff. Gene Coffee is going to be tomorrow's interview. It's going to be pretty awesome. And then noon on Thursdays, although I think they're shifting over to 6 p.m., but certainly on Thursdays is the Tattoo Collecting Podcast with Jordan Ruckus and Fawn Baker. They've been going at well over a year. I think they're on episode like 70 something, 80 something. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, there we go. This is the Reinventing the Tattoo calendar. You can see up here we've got a full set of courses. So these shows are supported by our sponsors and by the tattooers who are involved in the professional development courses. And yeah, you'll see that there is the canon. You could have it 3 different ways. There's the Evolve class, there's the canon, and just the Monday exercises, as well as a tremendous amount of other professional development courses. As you can see, there's the full range. Okay, I'm going to stop this screen share, get back to the, where are we? Sorry, I got to get back to my script, otherwise I get lost. Oh, I was on my script. Okay, voila. So real world events that are coming up. We've got April 11th to the 14th is an inspiring tour in New Hampshire with Sean Barber and Nick Baxter. These are 3.5 days where you learn how to paint better with the two of them. And then the third day, there's going to be a collaborative tattoo. And then the fourth day is critiques and field trips. It's going to be pretty awesome. Inspiring.tours. These sell out pretty quick, so you want to get on the waiting list. May 20th to the 22nd is Hell City, Columbus, Ohio. Durb puts on an amazing show. We will have a full Reinventing the Tattoo room there, which will be great. And I've got a special invitation going out to the professional development members of the Reinventing curriculums. So that's healthcity.com. June 10th to the 12th is Inkmania, inkmaniaexpo.com. Phil Holt and Stefano will be in the Reinventing room in person there, in the seminar room. And Guy Aitchison will be beaming in to do a panel exercise with those two, and then everyone's going to be heading over to the stage. Okay, so that's June 10th to the 12th, Inkmania. July 29th to the 31st, we'll be setting up at the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio with Tony Urbanic. There are a ton more shows coming up, so get on the mailing list, stay tuned. The sponsors that help make these shows possible are Raw Pigments, rawpigments.co, acrylic free, so they don't dry out in the cup. I think that's why they don't dry up in the cup. Point is, they don't dry up in the cup. They are acrylic free. And if you go to rawpigments.co, you'll get all the info about them. Do a search on the YouTubes, and there's a whole mess of interviews that Lauren has been doing with the raw pigment artists. WorldTattooEvents.com is the most comprehensive website for tattoo convention information, and Alex has been going nuts updating all the information for the last couple of years, but now it's great that the conventions are coming back, and he's got, like I said, he's got a full list, and you could also check out his amazing interviews, the history of tattoo conventions, the future of tattoo conventions. I can do a search for that. Dermalize, as they are known worldwide as Dermalize, is a healing wrap designed for tattoos. It specifically breathes. It's like, I don't know, 60%, 70% breathable. It lets the oxygen and all the healing stuff through, but it keeps out all the nasties. It's designed specifically to heal wounds, known as D-Lize Pro in the United States, thanks to international copyright laws and all that stuff. Again, search the videos out, Dermalize. You'll see a ton of artists have videos about how to use it right. Don't use it wrong. Tattoonow.com. I am a computer geek for tattooers. We have business classes for tattooers. I do a lot of great technology. It's a lot of fun. I'm kind of accepting clients, but definitely have a lot of courses and you can interact. Go to tattoonow.com. Then last but not least, in fact, first for Reinventing is Guy Aitchison, guyaitchison.com. He created the first Reinventing curriculum. It was a 3-ring binder in the early 90s, 93, I think. And then he'd like print out the chapters and mail them out to people, always having a keen eye for updating his, his curriculums. Then it turned into like the college textbook with a bunch of DVDs. Then we shifted it online about 10 years ago. And now it is one of the most comprehensive online courses that exists. And as I was saying, you get it 3 ways, 3 times a year. The Reinventing the Tattoo Evolution opens up for enrollment, but it's only 3 times a year because everybody, all that class takes the whole course together. Every Tuesday, I think, is when the lessons are released, and then every Monday is live exercises. It's amazing watching. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of artists kind of taking this together, and their artwork is improving tremendously. I am going to hop into the background and let Ricardo take over. Last couple messages, please leave all of your positive reviews on the various channels that you're watching from. Even though Reinventing's been around forever, these shows and the networks are pretty new, especially like the Roku and the new app. Those reviews are great. We love constructive criticism. We believe in critique. Send it to management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And if you are interested in sponsoring Reinventing and want your name listed on 5 shows a week on the Roku and on the internet and on the podcasts, all these growing channels, because you're interested in reaching tattooers who actually want to get better, then same email, management@reinventingthetattoo.com. Okay, I'm going to now test to make sure that's working and let everybody in here. How goes it, Ricardo?
Hey, good morning, Gabe. Thanks a lot for that intro.
No
I know it's so much stuff to go through sometimes. It's easy to get lost in the passion part of it, you know what I mean?
But, it's like almost every part could be a full news item or something, right?
Yeah, and entirely. It's like a part of its own conversation, man. It's awesome. All the people that are involved with the Reinventing the Tattoo has been great too.
Pretty fun.
Yeah,
Hey, as Ali is beaming in, could you turn your phone or your mobile camera sideways so that the camera fills up the? Yeah, perfect. There we go. Awesome.
Oh, that looks great, Ali. Look at that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Looks like you've been working on it a little bit this morning or last night, maybe. Where are you at?
Yeah,
Where are you
this was last night's project,
Mm-hmm.
and we had these snail references and some mossy rocks and like foliage.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept is introduction to color. So we're looking at, the varying contrasts of color and your value.
Recording in progress.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really cool to kind of work on this little guy today. And I got a little carried away in the detail early, but I think I'm rolling with it.
It's funny how that can happen sometimes, like how you have a process that will help you out. It'll help you work through the problems as you go. You know what I mean? But it's always easy to get kind of just swept up in the moment, isn't it?
Very easy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that looks great, man. I really like what you got going on so far. It's very readable. You know what I mean? Very legible as far as instead of just using the word readable. But yeah, that looks cool. That's really cool. I like it. Mm-hmm.
What are you working on today,
Well,
Ricardo?
You know what? I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm actually just kind of working on my guy right here too. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, thank you. That's about the furthest that I got last night. And I'm going to start working on it a little bit more today while we're hanging out and stuff like that. So.
I really like the way that you have him angled at the viewer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really great layout.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that so much. I kept trying to think of like an interesting way to display the color, and then how we can implement some darker tones and stuff like that to kind of push it a little more forward, and then do that the whole like dissipating kind of thing too, like the blurred out aspect of it. So I'm just kind of playing with some colors and stuff like that right now, and trying to implement like what he was talking about with the cooler belly part of the slug, and then the cooler background with some warmer tones for the body and stuff like that. So trying to follow all the instructions so I can learn as much as I can with it. Thank you so much for the compliments. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've always felt like I struggled with color for such a long time, and I think it's just because I was struggling to kind of get the right definitions down for what it was that I was trying to explain. You know what I mean? So now that I've learned a little bit more about like hue and tone and stuff like that, it's starting to kind of fall into place a little bit more. So pretty stoked about it.
That's awesome. It really is life-changing when you have the right things to articulate what you're trying to say. You've got the right words.
Mm-hmm.
It makes your communication a whole lot easier with other people.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So let's see. Let's kind of go through here and say good morning to everybody. Thank you everybody for joining. Oh, we got some locals, some old schools up here. We got Kier and Jason up in here.
Kier, you know better. Turn that phone sideways.
Long time, Kier. You gotta knock the dust off.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Not much. Just making some food. I'm gonna go to the shop after. Tattoo. Yeah, that's about it. How's everybody doing? I thought I'd hop in and say hello.
Doing pretty good this morning.
That's good.
Doing pretty good this morning. Yep. Working on some homework. Chilling.
Yes, I see. What is it, like slugs this week or snails?
Snails, slugs, the house for the slug. His RV, so to speak.
Oh, awesome. What's the goal with this week's homework?
Color.
Oh, cool.
Color. Color. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad. That's great. Awesome.
Let's see. We got Jason in here this morning too. We got Joshua. Good morning, guys. Medusa's here. Hello, hello. How's everybody's week been?
Did I hear my name mentioned?
I did.
Why?
Because we wanted to say good morning to you, bud.
Oh, good morning to you as well. And hi,
Yeah.
Kier.
Hi.
That looks like a whole lot of lovely blank wall space. Imagine the possibilities.
So I've been working on a few things lately. I don't know if you guys have had any big projects coming up. I've been learning how to manage a little bit more of my time recently. And it's been proving to be kind of difficult, to be honest with you, for me. I don't know if you guys have any insight on that whole deal. I did manage to work through the issue that I had with a client of mine recently where we were dealing with trying to be on the same page as far as what he was looking for and what I was willing to do for him. And I think we both came to the conclusion that I just wasn't going to be the right fit for him. So I don't know if you guys remember me talking about that a few weeks ago. We had some issues with the guy that wanted the tattoo as far as what he was supplying for his reference. So I thought I'd kind of catch you guys up to speed on that whole deal.
I think I told you I was streaming out with the machine guys, and I think it was they were talking about this very similar, they're talking about the same thing, and it was pretty amazing. So I guess it's the last magnetism and mayhem video. Everyone's got their own different styles, right? But I think it was Greg. He was like, how I sum up that, when I see this conversation starting to go that way, I just kind of sum it up. Nah. And I just skip that whole conversation. I skip the 3 weeks of hell and the back and forth, and I just nip into the bud. Nah. And I don't know if he really does that, if it's that rude, but it was definitely kind of, after 25 years or something, or 30 years of it, like sometimes just yeah, to your point, maybe you spent the perfect amount of time on them. I'm not sure, but at some point it might just turn into like, nah,
Yeah.
you're not the right client. Yeah. I'm not the right person. You don't want to get tattooed by me if you think you are. Whatever it might be. But anyways.
Right. No, that's exactly it. I mean, if anybody wants to chime in, please feel free to. But like, I agree with you, Gabe. It's I spent quite a bit of time on it. I ended up, kind of banging my head against the wall, so to speak, a few times and stuff like that. And but I think it ended up being that we were both a little bit happier with the outcome of it. You know what I mean? And yeah, as far as it being part of your own vocabulary, maybe not shared with the person themselves, but having that mentality going into it might save me a lot of time next time. So I think I'm going to take that approach. You know what I mean? Like, well, we've discussed a few options. It's not something that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, B. I don't know if you guys have experienced any of that lately, but there you go.
Did you send them to somebody or just?
I pretty much what I ended up telling them was that, like, I think what would be best is for you, the references that you keep sending me, to maybe reach out to those artists themselves. I think that he was looking for a certain. Yeah, I think he was looking for a certain style, and it's like, you keep sending me some of the same artists' work, so I think the best thing to do would be just contact them personally, reach out and find out what it takes to get tattooed by them. And I think that's what he did. He's like, okay, thanks. And I try to say it in as nice of a way as I could, but there you go. That's that. Other than that, like I said, working on some scheduling. And I recently decided that I'm going to join another tattoo shop here in town. And I'm closing down the private studio that I have. And I'm going to join a group of artists that I've known for over a couple of decades, actually, a couple of them. And we've all been tattooing together in the past. And I think it's time, especially given like the environment that I've had with the Reinventing group and learning from all you guys and stuff like that. I think it's time for me to kind of open that door back up again. You know what I mean? And be around a group of artists and stuff like that. And I was curious with you guys in the group here, if you could shed some light what it's like to be working in a shop with multiple artists and multiple people and people coming in and out all day. What
Love
do you
it.
think?
Find
Yeah?
a way to focus.
Okay.
You're going to need to do that. You're going to get distracted.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot more of a chaotic environment than you might think.
Yeah.
There's going to be side conversations going on between other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be noisy, and it's going to be distracting. Find a way to focus.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's, you know, I'm one of those people where if I've got a bigger tattoo I'm working on, I have the little like Bluetooth, like inner ear earbud things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put one in so that I'm always able to listen to the client, what the client has to say, but I'll have like classical music streaming in the background in my other ear.
Mm-hmm.
This way I can still interact with the client, but if I really need to hunker down and focus, just focusing on that classical music and the tattoo that I'm doing helps kind of keep my mind in line. And I find that it helps me be a little bit more effective.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. I know a lot of people have some issues with it. I think we might have talked about this at one point in time on this group even, is that some people go back and forth about artists wearing headphones and everything like that, or versus not wearing headphones, and some people thinking that it's rude or it's not rude. I personally feel the same way with you, Jason. It's like as long as you're able to talk to the client and like, you know, figure out what's going on with them, seeing where they're at, the comfort level. As far as your bedside manner goes, I really don't see an issue with it either. You know, I think that it's okay. I mean, I think if you're willing to be able to do that and focus on everything at the same time, then you're trying to give it your all, you know, whatever that may take to make that happen. And if that's one of the steps, then it's totally fine by me. I know that when I'm getting tattooed, sometimes I like to pretend like I'm hearing like water.
Yeah.
Just so I can
very
relax.
calming sounds that are
Yeah.
just very white noise. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Ask questions a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch every single person there work every chance you get.
Mm-hmm.
I still do it to this day. I'll walk around the studio and just watch people work. You know, maybe I'll pick up on like a little trick that they're doing that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of one of the benefits of being in an environment like that. So capitalize on it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that, man. That, and like I said, I've known these guys for a long time, man. So it's gonna be good to just kind of hang out too. You know what I mean? In the shop, it's been so good to me, man. Like all the people that I tattoo, all my clientele have been so great to me. And having the good luck and fortune to be able to be in a shop with no advertisements and stuff like that and stay busy all these years, it's been awesome. But I don't know about you guys, but I am a thinker. I think about shit all the time and it's annoying. I can't stop it. I hate it sometimes. And so like when I'm by myself, that's really hard to shut off. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to being able to have like just some conversation with people, you know what I mean? About tattooing, about tattoos, not just with the client about like, well, how long you been tattooing? Let's see. Let's go around the room and ask this question first. Now, I'm thinking about this. What are the most common questions you get from clients on a daily basis? Who wants to go first? I'll tell you.
How long have you been tattooing?
How long you've been tattooing is a perfect one. That's a good one.
Did you answer like, I haven't started yet? I'm going to get started in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, dude. What were you going to say, Medusa?
Oh, I love that question because I love it when they ask me that. And I look at the clock and I always say about since like 1. And I just stare them dead in the eyes and stop tattooing. Like when I say that, like look at the clock, turn over to them, say, since like 1. Perfect. And then wait for a reaction before I start tattooing again. And I don't correct them and be like, actually, just kidding. It's been almost 2 years or anything. No, I just say that and just, all right, back to it.
Perfect.
That's pretty good. That's good. I like that one.
Gets a lot of laughs.
Yep. I used to tell people all the time, I used to say, well, you know, the janitor the other day, the guy that mops, he was here. I was fortunate enough to be mopping that day, and the tattoo artist took off and I had to fill a spot. So there you go. That was like 3 days ago. And some people believe it, some people don't. So I get,
How about, do you do any of your own tattoos?
that's
Yeah.
another one too. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that's
nah,
another
I
one.
Nah, I wanna
draw
get good
mine
ones.
with Sharpie every morning.
Man, yeah, that's a good one too.
So wait, you're in a private studio right now and you're shutting that down to go work with your old friends?
Yeah.
Okay, I was confused on the private studio part.
Yeah. So I've been in a private studio since, well, not in the same location. This location I've been here since 2000, 2 years ago. And then before that, I was in a private studio since 2013. So where I'm going now is the same town that I live in, and it's going to be with some of the people that have splintered off of another shop and they started their own thing. So it's more of an art collective there than anything else. Like everybody's very driven on the art aspect of tattooing and just tattooing the culture of tattooing itself. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those shops you walk into and there's like prints and paintings and stuff everywhere. There's hardly any wall showing. You know what I mean? It's very eclectic and it's pretty awesome because it's got a lot of atmosphere and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. The music's loud.
That's
Can
awesome.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the camaraderie of a tattoo shop. I haven't worked in any private studios or anything, but my friends that do have all said that that's the thing they miss the most. Like they like being their own boss and being like having full control of their environment, but they miss the camaraderie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. That's definitely one of the things that I'm missing. Like I mentioned before, is just getting out of my own head sometimes. You know what I mean? I think I spend quite a bit of time just cycling through these thoughts and stuff like that. So it's going to be really great to get a little bit more linear with my work, like as far as start to finish with paintings and drawings and stuff like that. Because when you're by yourself and you're in your own environment, it takes a lot of energy sometimes to kind of keep the motivation going, you know? So without the Reinventing group, I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did already. You know what I mean? So it's been pretty incredible. And it's something to take into consideration if you're debating on changing shops or changing environments and stuff like that. Is it going to be productive? You know?
Well, in response to that question, Ricardo,
Yeah.
there's one statement that I've learned to live my life by.
Okay.
And that's, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah, I like it. It's simple.
Because it's simple, it's straight to the point, and it's true. If nothing
Yeah.
changes, nothing changes.
Right. Yeah. You know, the original shop that I had, the first private studio that I had, I went through divorce and stuff like that. And that was different. You know what I mean? That was like kind of, well, there's this deadline where am I going to be able to keep the shop or not? And it turns out that it's like due to circumstances that were somewhat out of my hands as far as am I going to be able to keep my shop or not? You know what I mean? So the decision was made and then I had to go from that point, like start over from that point. Since then, in these past 2 years, it's been very much my own outcome, what it is that I want to do, the direction I want to go in. And I don't know about you guys, if y'all want to chime in or not, but like, if you've ever been in a position where it's truly the freedom of choice and which direction am I going to head down now? You know what I mean? And I think that's what I'm trying to say to what you just said is, if there's no change, there can be no change, right? And I think a lot of us get so comfortable sometimes in this like comfort zone, you know, basically it's like a comfort zone that we create for ourselves or that we've been instinctually kind of going back to, you know, and it's hard to shake, you know, and I've been going through that. I think what's been happening for the past couple of years is coming to terms with that comfort zone that I have been in for a long time. You know what I mean? It's wild, man. And it's a lot of vulnerability to be able to like come up here and say that and stuff, but that's definitely been the case for me. And it was one of the big driving factors for me to be able to jump on here and be in front of camera and talk about this stuff. And then also, you know, like make this decision to close down the shop. But yeah, do you guys have anything to say about that? Y'all want to add to that at all? Do you guys feel the same way sometimes?
I mean, well said, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you.
People of the world are clapping for you.
Yes.
Well, that's cool.
So I actually was wanting to ask about a very similar circumstance. I wanted to know, like, how do you go through the process of deciding if, while you like and or love the environment you're in, if it's the right time to move on to something else, and if something else is the right path to take? Like, how do you go about making that decision or finding where you need to land when you are stuck at those crossroads?
It sounds like you need Tony Robbins, and for 3 weeks he will tell you. No.
No, man,
Sounds to me like you need
I
a
agree.
good stern call with Gabe Ripley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
agree,
the-
Melissa. That is a good question. That's the question that I've been asking myself for the past, like, you know, half a year. And
So-
I agree with you. It's hard. It's difficult. But I think if you're asking yourself the question to begin with, then maybe it's time. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like if you're fairly comfortable with where you're at, then you probably wouldn't even be asking yourself the question, is there more, or should I go? But I think us as human beings, we're always going to ask ourselves that question to a certain point. But I think if it's weighing on you more than anything else, then maybe it's a good time to take it into a little bit more serious consideration, for sure.
Just to lighten up to serious up my answer just a little bit, it is definitely good. Like nature and your peers, you know, and yourself will kind of cue you in. And if you're like, so just kind of be in tune with that, right? Like, don't let. And I've left decisions to the point where it was like, not only was it obvious that I should be doing something different, but like the universe knew it was obvious it should be something different. Like, and then it was
Yeah.
forced upon me. So like, if you know that you're supposed to be doing something and you're actively like resisting it, you know, the universe will put you there one way or another. So try to get ahead of it if you can. I'm not saying I ever did. I'm just saying that you might try.
So I'm going to chime in really quick.
Yes, please.
As far as knowing when it's time to make a change, you know it's too late when.
Oh man.
Perfect computer timing.
Oh man.
And we'll
The
find out
fucking-
more on the
meaning
next
of
episode
life
of
was
Joshua
right
Has
there.
Insight.
Yeah,
I don't think you guys know how much I fucking needed that.
I know, dude. Tell me about it. It's the
Because
fucking
like,
universe.
they're just like, come on.
No. Damn it. This is a bummer. He's still frozen too. Oh man, Josh. We'll
It'll be
give
a
you
good
some
clip.
time.
Two sides to the coin, right? On the one side, you look at it as the grass might be greener on the other side, right? Now, the other side of that coin is if you're so busy cultivating your own grass and building up your own grass to be perfect, then you're not really worried about what's over there,
What if,
you know?
what if
But
you're
you'll
busy?
never know. You'll never know if it was the right decision if you don't take the chance.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said a couple weeks ago, Jason, where like the indecision is the bad decision, right? Like then there is no fault, and we can always. What was the other one, Medusa? You said if you keep going straight, eventually you're gonna come back to the same point, or I can't remember how you said
Yeah,
it. But
if you keep walking forward, you're gonna end
Yeah.
up in the same spot because you know the earth is a circle.
that's it. And we're like, whoa. Yeah.
Well, but physically, that is. I mean, if you went straight line on the Earth, it's not a perfect circle. Like, I'm not sure that you
Oh
would
my
end
God,
up in the same
nerd.
exact spot.
Well, I mean, if you really want to get technical about it, then not only are you walking in one single linear direction horizontally, but you're going to be walking up and down a whole lot of stuff because the sea floor has a lot of mountains and ridges and stuff like that. And then you've got
Life
Everest and
is a
Himalayas.
journey. There's lots
Right.
of ups and downs.
But you will eventually end up back in the same spot.
That's the craziest part about like what we're saying is like we all have these analogies, we all have these like euphemisms and stuff like that that we can implement into this conversation at the right time. But reading it is way different. Knowing it and being able to recite it is something completely different than acting on it, right? Because like that's where that fear kind of comes in. I think for me, I don't know about all you guys, but that's where that tension or that anxiety kind of kicks in. And I think we all deal with that to a certain point. So like the inevitable part is when you're up on that high diving board. You guys remember being kids and you go to the public pool for the first time ever and they have a high diving board and you're like, I can do that. You get up on it and you're like standing there on that diving board and you're like, oh crap, man, that's a long way down, dude. Like
Wendy Peppercorn is your lifeguard.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
Oiling
Josh.
and lotioning.
Josh is back, dude. Oh man, you left us hanging.
Dude, that was hard.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
It's okay.
So if my internet service provider doesn't change, then nothing's gonna change. I've got my phone right now. It's ridiculous.
Do you remember what you were gonna say? Because we were like at the edge of our seats there for a second.
I'm
man.
so sorry. Yeah, I do. As far as deciding what change to make, look for the ones that give you more opportunities or more choices. So you make the change that gives you more options, because when you reduce your options, you're putting yourself into a corner. So look for the options that give you more options, and try to find the things where the reward outweighs the risk. That's how Richard Branson built Virgin Atlantic. He's like, you know what? I'm going to rent a fucking airplane and see if people buy a seat on it. Okay, cool. This works. Like, if it didn't work, all he'd have to do is return the fucking plane. And everyone's like, oh, he launched $1 billion business and blah, blah, blah. He was like, yeah, but it wasn't a lottery ticket. I just tried shit out and it worked.
Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks, right?
Yeah, but just find a way to mitigate the risk and give yourself more options.
Mitigating the risk is definitely very important. I mean, a lot of this stuff too also has to do with different personalities, different geographies, and different times and places in your life and career.
Yeah, sometimes you're forced into it.
Ultimately, your goal.
That's what I was saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so Medusa, like, what do you want? Like, are you getting what you want? Do you want more? Do you want less? You want, it's up. I mean, ultimately, as you know, the answers are all in you, right? So everyone's answer is a little bit unique. But ultimately, the sooner you kind of figure out what you do want, then the more clear some of those decisions become. Do you have like an artist statement or a mission statement? Or?
If you're going to ask me, no. I think that's one of the things that I need to focus on, though, for sure. I think that's it's a good compass. You know what I mean? It's a good way to like kind of check back in with the goals and stuff like that you've set for yourself and what it is that you're looking to do. I agree with that. I think that both of those that question and what Josh was saying and what you added to it, Gabe, is very straightforward and to the point. And I think that has a lot to do with what you're saying, Gabe, is personality and geography, right? Personality has a lot to do with like the indecision or like the lack of making the decision or like being afraid to even broach the subject, man. So yeah, but no, I don't have the artist statement. I think that'd be good to do, though. Sit down and kind of start making those hard questions, have an answer for yourself, right?
For me, I taught mission and values in the context of like the tattoo business for probably 6 or 8 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. As some people on the call know, like when I was in free fall and shit was hitting the fan and I was in the middle of a hurricane, it was actually it's the reason why I'm still here. I'm like, well, what is my mission and values? Well, I amplify positive progressive artists, through enlightenment, evolution, and endurance. Okay, well, I guess if I just keep doing that, no matter what everybody's saying or what everybody's doing, or no matter what's happening in the world, that to your point, that was exactly what my compass was. And maybe I had to look at it and refine. Like it was the same mission that I had 5 years earlier, but when I really looked at it, I was like, well, I guess I added the positive progressive part, right? It's like I have to make sure that. Well, again, point is, like when you're asking about how to go places or different ways to go places, we can give you all the tools and all of the maps and everything, but like, well, do you want to go to Venice or do you want to go to Hong Kong? That's kind of, I mean, you got to figure it out, right? But I guess that's what you're asking. How do you figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
Travel, do it, go until you're too old, then don't. Settle down and build a fucking legacy.
Max out some credit cards. Go for it. Traveling's expensive.
Max out credit cards, getting 2 seats, 1 extra for Bomber.
Oh, Bomber.
By the way, says hi.
The mascot, Bomber. What's up, Bomber?
She's busy licking my arm. Now she's running away. Okay, that's her butt.
Like, I'm done. There's my booty. I'm on my way out. Well,
yeah, no, I just yeah, it's a hard decision to try to figure out, especially in coming back to what you were saying earlier, like especially if you're really comfortable. Like I feel like
that's what I look for. I see that as a warning sign.
When you're too comfortable, you're having too much fun, you're not getting challenged enough.
When-
You're just kind of like, this is a party, not like
When you're comfortable, it leads to stagnation because you don't want to change because you are comfortable, right? Like most people will take the path of least resistance, right? They'll take the path that doesn't challenge them quite as much. They'll take the path that's not quite as difficult because they're comfortable and they know and they can predict what life is going to throw at them, even though we can never predict what life is going to throw at us.
Yeah. Jason,
Right?
I might just actually rephrase that just a little bit. It's not always the easiest, although it often is, because that's where people tend to go. But often it'll just actually be what's knowable, which was the thing that you said, right? So often you'll see, and I'm also in routines that are more complicated because I know it. And sometimes I might even think, actually, you know what? I know how to do this a little bit easier, but like, this is the way that I know, especially with computer shit. I'm sure it's the same thing with art stuff too, though, right? Like if you have a formula that works, even though it might not be the best or easiest even, if it's the one you know, you often have a tendency to stick with it too.
Right.
yeah.
You know, but it comes down to the principle of you're either moving forward and getting better, or you're getting surpassed by people that are moving forward and getting better.
okay. Now I have a question about interpersonal dynamics.
Let's hear it.
Kill them all.
What if hypothetically I were to get like a job offer at a really fucking good award-winning shop with a bunch of award-winning artists, and it's just like, whoa, to even be considered as an honor. But all of my best friends are at the shop I'm at now.
If they really are your friends, that won't change.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
They wouldn't be spiteful for leaving.
No.
Oh, if they are, fuck them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they should-
you have to
they should
celebrate the
celebrate guys I used
success.
to work with.
exactly. I agree with Gabe completely. You got to have somebody in your corner that's going to be like, dude, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you already
Yeah.
gone? You know
I
what I mean?
take it back. I also take that back. You should be nice to everybody, no matter how bitter they are. But the point is, the people that are nice, and you'll find this on the other end too. Like the people, if you move up, well, for one thing, when you move up in anything, you will lose people. And in the beginning, it's like, oh shit, I can't believe that I just lost you. I thought we were friends, and then 5 years later, like, oh my god, I can't believe that you're the. And then 10 years later of successes, you're like, holy. Again, it's continuous, right? So you're always going to shake people out because you're in growth and realignment. And when people are gracious with your successes, and when you're gracious with other people's successes, that is actually literally the encouragement needed to help bring either other people up or for someone to bring you up. And I'm using up just as a whatever, as an easy metaphor. And so there's nothing that's more frustrating to a shop owner than watching two tattooers or one tattooer pick on another because of their successes. It's just infuriating. There's really no place for it.
Yeah.
I get off my high horse.
No, I agree, Gabe. Go ahead.
On that note, guys, I'm sorry, but I do have to duck out early. I have to run off a few prints before I head to the studio today because I got a last minute print order in last night for someone that's going to be at the Skin Industry Expo. So I have to get going, unfortunately. Thank you very much for having me on. I always love these conversations. Thank you, Ricardo, and thank you, Gabe, for hosting. Thank you, Guy, for making the platform, and Medusa for really insightful questions, and Josh for your classic internet cutout.
Yeah. It's like, here's a pot of gold.
Yeah.
Here's a pot of bye.
Yeah.
Didn't even get the gold.
Yeah. Thank you,
So I just
Jason,
wanted
so
to say
much.
thank you to everyone, and
It's
hope
us.
everyone kicks ass today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you.
Anytime. Take care, guys.
Yeah.
So Atomic is in the chat room, says he wishes he could join. Too much to take care of at the moment, but he's having fun listening or listening in though. And Bruno is also in the chat room. He wishes he could, but he's enjoying the conversation and has the goalie sign. I think it's a soccer, two thumbs, not two, the hands with the thumbs in the middle, looking like a
W.
goal.
Oh.
Nice.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a W.
I don't know.
Oh, a
I
W
think-
for the win. I see.
Yep. I think it's something along those sports lines, right?
It seems like it's a sports thing. Yeah.
Sports.
Okay,
I like sports ball.
I have
Sports
a
ball.
question. I have another question.
Okay, let's hear it.
What does it mean when someone tells you you have a high ceiling?
It means
that
that your potential is great, basically.
Yeah. I would
So you got a lot of
say you have no ceiling.
Ideally, you have no ceiling. I mean, well, you do. There are natural ceilings, right? I mean, there's, but on the other hand,
Right.
like you have to kind of, sorry, to your point, I would behave like you have no ceiling. I do behave like I have no ceilings. But on the other hand, there are natural limits to everything. And you could, and frankly, you could watch people's ceilings be lowered. I watch that all the time. Like when people say stupid shit or whatever, or when how they behave, you could watch somebody's ceiling lower.
I gotta go turn off my alarm clock in the other room. Oh, sorry, guys.
These are all good questions, man. I think the part about when it's time to move on is a really big one for all of us sometimes, you know what I mean? And I think the older we get, the more experience that we have, the more we start to kind of feel for things that matter. I think that can kind of create some difficulty as far as like making the next step, the inevitable step happen. So I think these are all great ways to think about the things that we encounter as an independent artist, especially.
I'd weigh in on that and saying, if you feel like it's time to make a change, then it's definitely time, because I'm moving out to the Midwest soon, and I've been thinking about it for a while. And it's like, as soon as you start thinking about it, it just adds up. And it's like, okay, you're ready.
Kyle, that's great. If I can ask you a couple questions about that, man, that's a cross-country move for you.
Yeah,
right. So that was a pretty big thing for you to kind of like what you're saying, decide, right? Yeah. I mean, what kind of gamuts did you kind of find yourself running through whenever the decision was finally made, or like up to the point of the decision being made?
Well, for me, it's not, I don't have a lot going on out here, so it wasn't necessarily too much of a sacrifice to make it happen, but it's like just weighing the value of, do I stay out here? Do I, spend, the next 6 to 8 months saving up money to go leave and go do something on my own,
Mm-hmm. Did you grow up there?
Yeah.
In LA? Yeah. Okay.
So you have a lot of friends.
Have you ever been to Columbus?
No, I haven't.
So you grew up in LA. I don't. Your early 20s?
Yes.
Mid-20s? Early 20s. Grew up in LA. Saved up for 6 to 8 months for money to move to Columbus, Ohio, a place where you have never been.
Yeah.
And amazing.
Awesome.
Now, so what's your motivation? Yeah. Why?
I didn't have anything necessarily going on out here. There weren't a lot of opportunities out here. So, or at least specifically where I live. So back up and try somewhere else.
And why'd you pick Columbus, or how did you pick Columbus?
I figured it was just a good kind of central point to work off of, because then if I want to go somewhere else after that, it's kind of it's a lot easier than going from LA area.
Sure.
He wants to be closer to Hell City.
Yeah.
I do happen to be like 3.5 miles away from the place. Yes.
That's awesome, dude. It's radical.
Well,
yeah.
Ohio in general is like a hotbed for tattooing over the past decade or so. Like it's exploding.
Yeah, that was another reason picking that too. It's just there's a lot going on out there. So I feel like I definitely have a great opportunity if I just went out there and went for it.
I mean, yeah, there's a crew out there that you probably know how help contribute to.
Well, yeah, man.
Columbus,
when you-
Ohio, and fucking Hell City, and Durham, the whole area there. If it doesn't, there's to the point, like it's mature enough that no one's going to be super rude if they'll point you in the appropriate directions. So if you keep on this path and what you're doing, again, it seems impossible. It doesn't seem impossible because there's so many things that could happen and variables, and I'm not in your shoes. But it is all on you if you don't make this work, because you have the right work ethic, attitude, and risk versus reward calculations to land in the right places.
Definitely, yeah.
Speaking of risk and reward, how are you mitigating some of that risk, man? Like, what are you doing to manage the risk of a giant move? Because stress is a creativity killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Staying hopeful. That's kind of all I can do.
That's adventurous, dude. It's adventurous. It's adventurous for sure, man. I got to give you kudos, like a hand clap, and like it's awesome. It's very motivating for sure, dude. Because a lot of people don't make those things happen because of exactly what we're saying. Like you're going for it, dude. It's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, man,
if I think about it too much too, I'll start weighing myself down with all sorts of worrying things. So it's like I'm just trying to let go and just go for it.
Letting go.
Are you renting a room in a house, or are you getting your own apartment, or?
I'm getting my own 2-bedroom place, so I can finally separate my work from my sleeping area for the first time.
Yeah.
Which
So you
will
live
be a massive help.
Wait,
Yeah.
What?
That's
How much are 2-bedroom apartments in Columbus?
Like $850.
it's way cheaper than Los Angeles, I bet, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
extremely.
Oh my gosh, I'm like scraping by for a 1-bedroom in Portland. It's like
Yep.
$1,300 for a 1-bedroom here, and that's on like the lower, more affordable end.
Yeah.
Well,
I can imagine.
Portland's been hip for a while. I mean, hip, I say in quotes, but it's been hip for a while,
Part of it.
I emphasize those quotes
Yeah.
as a Portland resident, and I've been here for over a decade.
You want super cheap
Yeah.
cost of living, hit up Kentucky. My mortgage for a
Uh-huh.
3-bed, 2-bath is $300 a month for my family.
Ah, dude. Oh my God.
Oh,
Man.
It comes with a prescription of OxyContin.
It does actually.
what?
So
Sign me.
the Moorhead, Kentucky mating call sounds like a pill bottle rattling.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, that's fucking great, dude.
Well,
Oh,
I
man.
mean, we all want a for-profit healthcare system, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I
wait,
mean,
yeah.
let's steer back towards
my shop is like 5 doors down from a methadone clinic, and unfortunately, like no matter where I put the shop, it's going to be 5 doors down from a methadone
Right.
clinic or a church.
Yeah. That's the way it is in Illinois too, man. With tons of small towns, you know what I mean? And some of these small towns have maybe 1,500 people. There's always 3 bars and a church for sure, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 3 different bars and a church without fail, dude. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, that's the way it is in Illinois too, man. Rent here is pretty cheap too. You know what I mean? The place that I rent, the 1-bedroom apartment is like $750 a month, man. But you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy.
I have so many friends moving out to the Midwest that were like scraping by for just a 1-bedroom here in Portland, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm moving out to the Midwest. I bought a house
Yeah.
on land with like
Yeah.
more than 3 square feet of grass."
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
You know what?
wait, that's a possibility. There's no
I
such thing
will-
that happen.
Now let's pop the little bubble here for just a second though, okay? Because I will tell you that winters here can be
Ugh.
pretty brutal. Like they can be pretty brutal on the spirit and on the demeanor of the person.
Population.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
rains.
exactly.
It rains 9 months of the year here in Portland.
There you go.
Everybody's
Okay.
depressed.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be a difference.
Then welcome to Illinois winter is all I'll say.
See, over here it's
Yeah,
hot
I mean-
24/7
Yeah.
all year round, and I hate it. So
Oh, you're gonna love the cold weather then, huh?
yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, that is one of the beautiful things about tattooing is that, but if you want, you could, roam around a bit before you set down any real roots too. You get to, hit up the guest spots and the conventions and get to, I mean, it's at least one of the things that I always jived with tattooing is that it's so travel friendly. Um, I mean, yeah. And so when you're looking to like choose to move to, Kyle's definitely got a good thing going, and Columbus is a prime target. But you can do guest spots in a half a dozen spots over the next couple of years and get a feel for the different locations, what inspires you and whatnot.
Yep. Guest spotting is always a good way to go. It's always a good way to meet people. And I've actually, that's a really good way to look at it, man. I mean, you can always, with Instagram, social media, and even your own websites and stuff like that, man, you can keep people up on where you're going to be and start gaining more and more clientele around the country and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's pretty easy to do. It can be fairly easy. Now there's going to be some legwork and stuff like that on your part, you know what I mean, to keep up with messages and how busy it could get. But yeah. And sticking to some kind of formula as far as your business end goes, deposits and setting up appointments and stuff like that before you go. Try some way of guaranteeing that you can depend on that income by the time you get there. But we all know that it can be kind of wish-washy sometimes, and this is the nature of the beast. But the more you implement to kind of keep,
you just hit the right shop. So I mean, if you're doing high quality work, there's no shortage of busy shops, that'll take guests that would be happy to do awesome, walk-ins, or short-term appointments, whatever they are these days. Again, not like every shop, but Jesse Smith's always looking for guests, and there's always overflow. I mean, you got to be pretty damn good and have a good attitude, but to your point, it's maybe it's precise. It's not. It's a set of steps. It's not easy. But on the other hand, it's not rocket science. You do awesome tattoos, you respect your clientele, and you show them a great time so they come back with their friends and family. And there's at least a dozen, wicked busy shops to anchor some travel with.
That is, yeah, for sure. You're right, Gabe. And that's one of the things. I don't know if it's, maybe you can help me out with this, Gabe, but I don't know if it's because of the amount of time that I've been tattooing or in the industry. It's been like 23 years, 24 years now. And I'm noticing and recognizing that more of a pattern of shop owners trying to cultivate more of a positive environment and stuff like that too, where the artwork is important, but more over less, it's like they're trying to cultivate the right kind of environment first. Do you see that happening a lot with a lot of people that that own shops and things like that?
Well, I mean, the thing that I mostly see that is successful is mostly when the shop owners invest back into the business and the artist in manners that makes sense, right? So like Jesse Smith is an easy example because he's I talked to him a fair amount and he's been on a bunch of the shows, but like he's leveraging the power of a studio to produce a foundation and an experience that you can't get on your own, and you can't get at most other shops. And he because he's promoting his artists, they're busy, the shop's overflowed with the clients. He's in a spot where, like, for the most part, if somebody's slamming and could show their clients a positive good time, there you go. It's like an environment where you can land. It's pretty and again, he's using the benefits of that to attract the right people and to not attract the people that want to pirate ship it up or whatever,
Right.
which is cool. Like, but if you want to pirate ship it up, then you would use those qualities as the attractor, both as and again, this is why having that mission, I think, is important. Mission and values is important for artists just as much as shops, and if you're an artist and you're not quite clear where you're going, I mean, so for instance, we'd have people that would be attracted to the success of the studios that I owned, right? Some of them thought that the success was the money, some the fame, some the magazines, or whatever it might be, right? But like what I felt was success was different, and ultimately, as we started to clarify it, right? Say, unfortunately, 6 to 7, 8 years in, I mean, it's not unfair. The world changes. We all do have to evolve. But on the other hand, I have to acknowledge that I didn't set out, the business with a very clear mission and values. So I attracted artists of various values and missions. And then, that transition, as we clarified it all, wasn't trivial. And I'm also not like a natural leader or anything, so I was probably way more rougher around the edges than I should have been or could have been. But point is, the mission and values should, I don't know, I guess I'm lost in the mission and values again. I just think it's very important for both the artists and for the studios to kind of understand who they are, what they're looking for, and how they do it, so that they could find themselves pushing, in the same direction with various flavors. It's not like we want everybody to, and not everybody should be expected to think exactly the same in a community, but you should be pushing in the same direction so that you can accomplish it. Sorry, so just wrap it all up. The tattoo studio owners are people who pay attention to actual leadership and like understanding, and it's mostly servant leadership. I guess I hate the term, but like it's mostly like how to, clearly invest and work for your team. And that's it. And they do it in a way that's like honest, and all the other things are kind of like givens.
So there you go, Medusa. There's some other things I kind of look for if that's the case, if you're debating it and stuff like that too. That's something else to kind of contribute to that deciding factor, even,
Yeah. I had a question about Evergreen Invitational. If anybody's familiar with, do they invite single artists or whole shops?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
I think it's probably per artist. Are you, because you're looking for an invitation, or you want to work it, or?
Hypothetically, yeah, eventually,
so,
I want to be personally
have you been going to it? Like, have you been going to it every year?
Or? No, this last one I couldn't go to because I was dealing
it doesn't make a difference why necessarily. So like if you want to like really get into a show, you want to go to the shows, you want to participate in the shows, you want to have clients that are there, and for the most part, it's not like you, in my opinion, other people have various opinions, like you can't, for me, there's a very fine line between like showboating and properly representing the quality of your work. But as a convention promoter, the people that will get invited, the bulk of them are going to be people that have supported the show, and they've been visible. They're people that have already said hi to me 2 or 3 times at the shows, and I've noticed their work. I've noticed their artwork, or whatever it might be, and or if there's other avenues that the convention promoters do business in, making sure that you're a patron or a fan of that also, and maybe 20%, of the people that would get invited, to a show like that. I can't speak for Evergreen, of course, but like at least my shows, maybe 20% would be people that I've become aware of through other various means, but mostly, if you're properly representing yourself and posting work and putting it out to the various medias, and it's always improving and you're always respectful, then some of it's waiting for people to be like, holy shit, Medusa, you have to fucking come to the Paradise Tattoo Gathering in 2025 or whatever it might be. And then the other part is like, respectfully asking the appropriate questions to the people, just like this. Or you could even, I'm sure you could go to their page, they might even have a how to submit. Have you checked that out at all? Anyways, point is, just keep getting better, and then properly promoting yourself, and then not being shy to ask for things without bugging people. Like, you have to ask, you can't bug. And then ultimately, again, especially for conventions, attending the shows, contributing to the shows as best as you can as an attendee, and you'll find that the doors will open when they're when it's appropriate time.
Yeah, one of the particular opportunities that I had implied about earlier is very well known for being regular evergreen attendees and such. So
Cool.
I was just more curious about that whole dynamic about the whole invite conventions as opposed to sign up and pay the fee conventions.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if, there's been a couple people from a shop or a shop owner that's been attending or supporting a show for a while and is doing good work, there's certainly sometimes where a shop might, and in a lot of shows would be extended the invitation to the whole thing, to the studio, that usually ends up when like, if there's a booth, and the shop has like 4 or 5 artists that are all awesome, and we'll invite the owner or the key one and potentially one of the others too. But if it's an invitation, like I said, so I mean, with almost all these answers, it really is. It depends on the studio. It depends on the artist. It depends on the convention. It depends on the convention owner. It depends on the time of the convention. The very beginning of the convention. The floor plan is generally filled up with people from previous years, but then you have to pull people, but then you fill it up pretty quick, but then some people drop out, in the middle, so, the particulars are actually probably a little less important, again, like I was saying, supporting the shows, doing great work, being visible, and, I mean, certainly, hooking up with a reputable shop filled with badass artists that amplifies visibility. And when a convention promoter says, hey, what do you think about Medusa? And they say, hell yeah, definitely invite her. That shit does happen, and that's the way the world works. But that's not the only way, I guess. I don't know. I yield the floor.
Yeah, no, I think those are all good points. I mean, I think basically just be involved. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty much it. Like, just kind of show some interest in what it is that you're doing and start getting involved with the community itself, and it'll start falling into place, So if that's what you're asking.
Well, no, everything comes with baby steps, just one foot in front of the other, step by step. But man,
Small steps.
I don't even want to get out of bed. So.
Well, you got to get out of bed to do it.
What?
Yeah. I feel the same way sometimes. I think we all do. I think it's a human thing sometimes. It's like, nope, you know what? Today is not the day.
Well,
Me
that
literally every day.
is one of the definitions I heard of professional. The difference between professional. I'm not saying anybody on here is fitting or not fitting of the definition.
Right.
And I'm sure you do get out of bed clearly because you do, and you do, maybe your circadian. I'm not commenting on your circadian rhythm.
Right.
Fuck. Now I've had so many disclaimers that I fucking forgot what I was gonna say.
By the way, I woke up at 5 a.m. today.
Awesome.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
So that's good. Oh, and that reminded me what I was going to say. Part of the stuff too, like these Zooms, are actually a really insightful way for, again, for better or worse. I mean, often they seem like they're Zoom calls, but they're on the record too, in their broadcast, right? So potential shop owners or convention people will get a glimpse of everybody's, personalities over time, and for the most part, that's great. I mean, it is great, but it is also just worth taking note. And I guess then the last thing I'll say about like the conventions or the shops and all this stuff. Have you ever mapped out utopia? Or there's like 2 different ways to do the visionary-ish thing like this. You could either envision like your utopia or your utopias. I mean, in your artist, you could draw them out and paint them and shit. Or you could write your own obituary, and then reflect upon that. And maybe everyone here is just too young to be writing their own obituaries. But so you should be doing your utopias, and then maybe 40s, 50s hit your. Point is, when you visualize it, right, and you're thinking about it, and you dwell upon it a little bit, and then you tweak it around, or I mean, even if it's like vague, but like you get a sense of. Like I said, at the end of the day, when people are reading about the obituary of Medusa, what do you want it to say? Again, jokes about not getting out of bed because she got out of bed at 5:15 a.m., kind of a thing, or whatever. But again, you kind of, you can't control it, but you can influence it. But you can't really influence it as much if you don't like visualize it and do it intentionally or some such.
I feel you. it's all about some kind of like forward motion on your own accord sometimes, you know, like just take it into control, make it happen yourself. Because if you're just sitting around waiting for it to happen, it's not going to happen. You have to take steps in order to make that a reality. And sometimes it's imagining it and kind of manifesting it to a certain point before it can start to even take a different shape. So, and I think it's awesome because I believe in that quite a bit. I talk about that quite a bit even. Sorry, my phone's about to die. Well, with that being said, I think I'm going to show off what I have here real quick. I've been kind of doodling and stuff like that while we've been talking, and I think I might jump off for in just a second to get ready for the rest of the day. I have an appointment coming in at 11 my time, and it's about 10:12 here. So let me see if you guys can see this now. Can anybody see that?
Oh yeah, very lovely.
Looks awesome.
Thanks. We're
Oh,
getting
I'm
there.
really glad you went with the skull snail.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna tighten up some more details around the foreground of the slug. I think I got more of the snail kind of face going on. I'm not too sure, but we'll play around with it a little bit more fit a little bit here and there. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make a lot of the foreground really tight and clean, lots of little highlights and stuff like that, and then push some of these things back a little bit further and make them a little more fuzzy. And then go back in with a more contrasting background and some contrasting shapes to kind of implement that background value and push that out just a little bit more for as far as the tattoo laws go. But cool. So maybe we can go around the room. I'll just holler out your guys' name. You can give us a shout out, tell us where you're at, how to get a hold of you, what social media you want us to get a hold of you at, and we'll go from there. Kyle, want to go first?
Sure, yeah. My name's Kyle Bernstein. You can find me online at Skies of Fire Tattoo or skiesofiretattoo.com and just check me out. Maybe buy some art. Yeah.
Killer. Thanks for joining, man. It was great to have you, and thanks for sharing this experience that you're getting ready to take on.
Yeah, of course. It's always great to be here.
Yeah, it might be good to kind of keep us updated and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah, I
post some
definitely
stuff
will.
about where you're at, like the whole process and everything, and that'd be interesting to see.
For sure.
Medusa, wanna give us a holler?
I am Medusa Slays. You can find me at Medusa Slays on Instagram or medusaslays.com.
Killer. Allie? I don't think we can hear you.
Having me today.
There you are. What was that? I'm sorry. I don't think we could hear you at first.
Okay, sorry. I'm Allie Kriska, and you can find me on Instagram at Living Water Art Studio. And thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for joining. The drawing's looking great too, by the way.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, that
And
looks
Medusa-
awesome.
Yep.
Sorry.
And Medusa, thank you so much for asking all those questions. You know what I mean? That was really brave and bold to be able to get up here and ask some of those questions and stuff, man. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah, my name is Ricardo Sturdivant. You can find me here Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Thank you everybody for joining. Josh, Kier, Jason, thank you for jumping in. Josh, thank you for the ultimate and timing of internet breaks. It was fun. And everybody in the chat room, thank you guys so much for the insight and the involvement. Gabe, thank you for hosting this morning. I can't thank you enough because I'd be fumbling all over the place with it. If you guys want, you can get a hold of me on Instagram under Ricardo Sturdivant. And just until next time, guys. Cheers.
Awesome. Have fun, everybody. Time to wave goodbye. Clicking the buttons.